It's been 6 years since the Nintendo Switch came out back in 2017, and right alongside the launch of the Nintendo Switch, we got The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, a lot of people were really excited about this game and couldn't afford a Nintendo Switch at the time, so they bought the game before they had the console. I know this because I'm one of those people. I first purchased The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because I was so beyond hyped and excited about it from the footage we saw in 2016 that I went out day one and bought the game. Didn't have the console. And I sat there and waited until I saved up and could afford to get myself a console. And I eventually played it and was a little overwhelmed and kind of let down. Now, I'm not saying that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a bad game, because there are a lot of really great elements of this game, but I'm just saying that a lot of the game mechanics and the core game itself just doesn't really seem to click and vibe with me. It's kind of weird because on paper, this is like the perfect open world game. And I find myself coming back to this game year after year after year, putting literally 30 to 40 hours into this game on a new file every single time. And yet I can't get myself to Calamity Ganon and take it down and save Hyrule. So I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I didn't really know what I wanted to say per se, because I don't want to sit here and just bash the game. That's not how I feel. I think there's a great game in this game. I really do, but it's, for me, shrouded in all of these other cons that just kind of get in the way. There's a lot of quality of life improvements that I'm hoping will transfer over into Tears of the Kingdom, but it's funny because the things that I don't like about the game, I know people personally that absolutely love. So I made a pros and I made a cons list on kind of what I wanted to talk about, because again, this is a fun game. There's a lot of really great things within this game that I love. And that's why I find myself getting that itch year after year and putting in 30 plus 40 plus whatever hours. But those cons just outweigh it every single time. So let's just start first with the positivity, because who doesn't like a little positivity in their life? So let's do with the pros. The combat. I freaking love the combat in this game. I love how fluid everything is. I love how you can run up to a group of enemies and you have hundreds, if not thousands of different ways that you can defeat them. You don't have to just go guns blazing with your sword, bow and arrow and everything like that. You've got all your different Sheikah Slate abilities with, your remote bombs. You can use magnesis, all these different abilities at your fingertips, and it adds such a variety of gameplay mechanics into the combat. And one of my favorite things is being able to just kind of switch on the fly. You don't have to stop and pull yourself out of the immersion of the game completely by pausing and going into this big menu and yada, 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 selecting your next item, stuff like that. It's super easy just to hold a few buttons, click through the little menu screen, and you're right back into the action and everything. And it's so fast and so fluid. And the AI in this game, the Boca Goblins and all the other different creatures you fight, some of them are pretty intelligent, and it gets pretty freaking rough. Another really big pro for me on this game is 100% the atmosphere of this game. Just running through the open world, sometimes you just look at it and you're just completely shocked at how big and immersive it can be sometimes. Now, that kind of goes into one of the cons that I have, but again, we're talking about the pros first. We'll get to that later. So put a pin in that little spot that I just said. But playing this on my OLED, holy crap, this game is incredible. It looks amazing. And it's still, even after 6 years, one of the best looking and performing Nintendo Switch games, thus proving this console is not underpowered. Yeah, I know, we already had that talk. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna discuss the power and everything like that of this little amazing handheld device. But look at Breath of the Wild, man. It's so pretty, it's so gorgeous. And the sound design, from you just running through the open fields, the little tiny notes that play every once in a while when the wind's blowing in the right direction, the sound of the waves crashing up on the land, and even just you swinging your sword, shooting your bow. They took so much time and just perfected every little minute detail in this game, and it blows me away every single time I'm running through Hyrule. My last pro is honestly the story. It's super in-depth and it goes along every single Legend of Zelda trope, but expands on it. Obviously, you're Link. I almost said you're the Legend of Zelda. You're Link, right? But this time, you wake up after 100 years, after you've been defeated. You lost, man. You fought Ganon and he kicked your ass. And here you are now 100 years later being resurrected, with Zelda reaching out to you, telling you, hey bud, we're not finished. So it's your job to go around and defeat these divine beasts that were at one time on your side, but have since been corrupted by the Calamity Ganon. And now you have to find the 4 ancestors of the original champions you fought alongside with to take control of the divine beasts, get their powers, and take on Calamity Ganon, save Hyrule, and save The Legend of Zelda. It's kind of like Heroes. Save the princess, save the world. But in Heroes, it was save the cheerleader, save the world. I love Hayden Panettiere, sorry. But anyway, it's really interesting and really fun and cool, and I'm excited to see what they do with it with Tears of the Kingdom, because that game looks dark, and I'm excited. So unfortunately, those are the only pros that I have. There's only 3, but those are some pretty big pros, right? I have to imagine. I mean, those 3 things keep me coming back year after year after year. And it's funny because those 3 things sound like an amazing and fun game, right? Exactly. But here's where things get super irritating and annoying for me. And you already know I'm gonna bring this up because every single time I've talked about this game, I always bring up this part. So let's just get right into the cons. Weapon degradation is the dumbest thing in this game. I'm sorry, throwing that out there. I understand its purpose. I get it. It makes the game much more difficult. It makes you have to rely on different weapons. You can't just find your favorite weapon and just keep that for the whole entire game and steamroll everything. I understand the purpose behind it, but here's my thing. Take a look at Elder Scrolls, Fallout even. Bethesda does this really, really well. Even Fire Emblem has weapon degradation, but here's the kicker. They have ways of repairing your items. So if you do find a specific item that you really like, you can take it to a blacksmith, you can use a repair hammer, you can keep that one item going for as long as you possibly need to, upgrade it, etc., etc. This game, you can find an awesome weapon, have it for one fight, and it's gone already. And what if you're fighting a big boss and you run out of all your weapons and you're just stuck using your, remote bombs and stuff like that? Oh, but it makes the game harder, Andrew. I get that, but give me the option of being able to repair them. It's so frustrating every single time I'm in the middle of a really epic battle, I break all my weapons, and I guess I'm just not good at the game. It's the same exact thing, the same problem I have with all those freaking FromSoft games where it's just like, go get good. That's not the mentality I want when I'm playing a video game. I play video games to escape the real world, okay? I don't want stress from weapons breaking every 10 seconds. Another huge con I have is just how big and open this world is. So remember I said earlier in the pros section, put a pin in that. We're pulling that pin out because we're talking about how big this world is and there's very little in it. Yeah, you got your shrines and stuff like that. You got little tiny towns here and there, stables, stuff like that. But again, going back to previous games I mentioned, like Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, and Skyrim, open worlds with massive towns in them. Things to do, mini games within those towns, different things like a blacksmith, guilds, stuff like that. That would have made this game so much better for me. And instead, I find myself spending 30 minutes running from point A to point B. Okay, get a horse, use the DLC, get your master cycle, all these things. I don't want to spend 20 minutes of my time going from one point to one point. I have a kid, I have a full-time job, I have a wife, I have different hobbies. I want to get in the game and get out sometimes. That's what I love about the Switch. I can just pull it off the dock, play for 20, 30 minutes, and feel accomplished sometimes. Fire Emblem games, I could beat a whole chapter. Other games, I could beat a dungeon, something like that. But in this, I'm stuck just running from point A to point B. And that was my 20 to 30 minutes that I had for that little time frame to play the game. It just kind of bums me out. My last con, and probably my least favorite part of this game, is the stupid stamina wheel. It makes me so frustrated when I'm trying to do something, like just cross a small ravine, I'm swimming across something, and I run out of stamina and I drown, and I have to teleport back. And actually, I'm running up a mountain, and it's raining. Guess what? Now you're slipping and falling. Sorry, you forgot to save, you're dead. Oh no. I know, these sound like first world problems for a video game thing. I get it, but this is why I don't like playing it. Because of these reasons. And I understand people like it for these things, and I think you need to go to a mental institution. I'm kidding, it's a joke, shut up. But it's just, it throws me out of it sometimes, because I don't want a super hyper realistic video game when I play my video games. So when people ask me why I don't like it, I tell them these things. And I actually lied. I said there was just those 3 cons. There's one more. The shrines. I don't like them. I don't like the feel of them. I feel like They replaced the dungeons with the divine beasts, which act as like dungeons. You know, there's the 4 of them, and then there's also the 120 plus, you know, things, the shrines. And I get the purpose of them. You get the little spirit orb at the end of it, and you collect 4 of those, and that's how you upgrade your health and your stamina and stuff like that. And they don't tell you where they are in the game. You have to upgrade your Sheikah Slate, because then you get better opportunities to find them. You just find them in the open world, which is cool exploration. They're, you know, telling you, hey, go run around this open world, have fun. But at the same time, I don't want to stop what I'm doing, because oh, there's a shrine over there in the distance. Again, going back to my argument where I don't have all the time in the world to just sink 100 hours into a video game. And that's kind of what I liked about Legend of Zelda. You know, they were a good chunk of time, but they weren't hundreds of hours worth of time. Whereas Breath of the Wild is a time sink. And unfortunately, half the time, I don't have that time. So it's not necessarily, again, like I had said, it's not that the game is bad. It's just there's things about the game that I don't like. And that's why I don't think Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is a perfect 10 out of 10. Honestly, with these features, I give it a 7 because the game is really good. There's so much really great things in it that I enjoy a lot. I'm playing through it again because I want to beat it finally before Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, I gave myself 2 weeks to beat this game before I made this video. I didn't make a video last week because of this. And I barely got a chance to play it, unfortunately. But I have like 7 hours and I've barely done anything in the game because so much of my time has been going from point A to point B. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, game's fun, game's cool, buy it, play it. Tears of the Kingdom comes out pretty soon here, so I'm excited nonetheless. I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna play it. I love The Legend of Zelda. It's one of my favorite IPs. You know, I absolutely love Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time. Those are my top 3 favorites, along with like Minish Cap, Phantom Hourglass. I love The Legend of Zelda. I have a Skyward Sword banner right behind me. Love this franchise. But this game just isn't even in my top 5 Zelda. And it's weird because on paper, should be my perfect and favorite game. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I don't make you too mad with my opinions. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.